day one of the round of 32. And it had promise. The way that it started, it had some promise with the first two games, LSU and Maryland, Wofford and Kentucky. After that, who the hell didn't get blown out? Lots of blowouts today, lots of dominating performances and lights out shooting. We'll start with kind of what went on early on in the day. An LSU late second bucket, dribble drive right to the rack, and a nice layup there with seconds just dwindling down for LSU to get the W over Maryland. Now, I was shocked that Maryland was even in the game. They made a pushback after LSU was up. You also have to factor in that LSU has a coaching situation because of the NCAA violation. So, for that coach to step in and make a nice little play there late and draw up a nice play, kudos to him. He obviously messed a lot of things up in the SEC tournament when they played Florida. So, way to go. He stepped up and made something happen. LSU escapes, but they are the better team. They are better than Maryland. I don't think Maryland was very solid at all, to be completely honest with you. LSU with a very entertaining W, to say the least, considering I had LSU minus 1.5. So a 2-point win at the buzzer is a phenomenal thing for me. And after that, Wofford took on Kentucky. Now, Kentucky definitely stepped up and controlled the game when they needed to, but for Wofford to be involved like they were when Fletcher McGee, of all people, were 0 of 12 from the three-point line, you got to give credit to Wofford for staying in there. I mean, when you tell me that one of their best players, him and Hoover, right, one of their best players is shooting 0 from the three-point line, they're probably not involved in the basketball game, but they were. They completely fought very, very hard, but I thought Coach Cal did a great job of attacking the post, going through the bigger man, putting the points in the paint, and going to work from there in the second half, and Kentucky did what they needed to do. So those were the two close games of the day, and LSU ends up advancing to the Sweet 16 on top of Kentucky. But then it kind of got a little bit more into demanding wins. Michigan did their job over Florida, and that was actually a really good matchup on paper. I thought Florida was going to give them a lot more, but if Michigan can play at their top game, that's the thing. It's if they can play at their top game, and when they do, they're scary, and they're hard to take down, and they are a top legit contender. Florida's a really good team too, but when Michigan is on, they are on, and they did enough to get the job done over Florida today, and pretty much had that game in the grasp the entire time. Florida State just absolutely cooked and fried Murray State and Ja Morant. And listen, I loved watching Ja Morant play. His triple-double in the first round was great. He ended the day with 28, 5, and 4. He knocked down some threes real early in this game, consistently. Bang, 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 bang. But Florida State just kept responding. They are a serious contender. I'm telling you, watch out for Florida State. They are a serious, legit contender in this thing. They have size. They're athletic. They can shoot. They can knock down shots. Watch out for them. They were just too much for Murray State. They're just an all-around better team. Of course, we all love Ja Morant. We think he's phenomenal. His game is tremendous. But all around, Florida State just cooked and fried Murray State from start to finish. Gonzaga just beat down on Baylor. There was a late little surge out of Baylor. But let's be real, Gonzaga had that all the way as they advanced to the Sweet 16. MSU smacked around Minnesota. They win by 20. So that leads an MSU, Michigan State, versus LSU Sweet 16 matchup. Okay, that's definitely going to be very exciting. Villanova, definitely disappointed in Villanova. They looked shook. They did, and I'm surprised, even with Booth and his turnovers, and Pascal didn't really they just looked out of sorts. Now, it didn't help that Purdue was hitting every single shot. I'm talking every single shot, it seemed. They couldn't miss. They were out rebounding insanely offensively. Purdue was just eating up every board they possibly could on the offensive side. Villanova, though, it was just disappointing on how it played out. I expected a little more of an effort there. I had them plus 10.5 on a super teaser, and I couldn't even get that covered. They weren't even relative in this basketball game. It's a shame. I'm a little disappointed, but, they overachieved, I would say, as a whole anyway for this season, considering what they lost last year and the 4 players to the NBA. Just crushing, though, and it didn't help when Edwards is knocking down 9 3-pointers. When Edwards is dropping 42 points. He was elite today. Everything Purdue was putting up there, it ended up falling, and Villanova did, though, just look shook, out of whack. The moment looked a little too big for the team. Sadly, I hate to say that. And lastly here, the last game of the day, Auburn. And they shredded right through Kansas. It was a complete blowout, a dominating performance. We watched Auburn almost blow one in the first round, and they come back and take control against the Kansas team. Bill Self just looked frustrated on the sidelines, as it makes sense for him to do, of course. He clearly doesn't get blown out like that often, but they don't advance to the Sweet 16, and now Auburn does. I do like these squads, though, that are involved. Of course, everyone still favors Duke and Virginia and UNC and all that, but I'm telling you, this Auburn team, I mean, they've shown me something today. They did. They showed me something today, but Florida State, there are some other squads out there with all around just phenomenal team play. So in regards to some Sweet 16 matchups, like I said, the LSU-MSU one, we're going to have to wait for tomorrow for it all to play out and see everything that is going to happen. But a Florida State-Gonzaga Sweet 16? Are you serious? I mean, even the MSU-LSU one's crazy. That's why this thing is so hard. As you move forward here, and there's not many insane upsets, you get real solid competition from the Sweet 16 to the National Championship. And that's why you realize it's so hard to really do this thing. But for real, like, all jokes aside now, Florida State and Gonzaga, those are 2 National Championship caliber squads, and they got to meet up in the 3rd round in the Sweet 16. And I know that's said for anything. Like I said, LSU has a team this year that people think are national championship worthy. Michigan State has a team that people think are national championship worthy. Gonzaga and Florida State is going to be one for the ages. Haymakers back and forth. I am thrilled to see how that is brought to the table. I want to see how Florida State tries and defends the offense that Gonzaga brings to the table, because we know they can score the basketball. They can put the basketball in the hoop, let's be real. All around, though, I mean, there's no such thing as a day that is bad when it is filled with college basketball. It's similar to the saying, a bad day of fishing beats a good day anything else. Well, a bad day of March Madness beats a good day of anything else. I'm going to be honest with you. It's the best. A little odd just seeing a ton of blowouts. Now, it doesn't help that the kid here ends up winning 6 bets in a row. He's on a hot streak and then loses 5 bang, 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 bang in a row. Bang, 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 bang. They just keep coming. They come in waves. So right now, I'm feeling a little low. I got all the chips in one basket here for tomorrow's early game, because that's just how this damn game goes when it comes to the betting world. I'm not real big on it, but something like March Madness is obviously going to open up, some fun for me, and then we'll see if we make anything out of it. I was about 5 bets ago, and then it just happens like this. It's crazy. It's crazy how much Vegas knows. It blows my mind, and it's crazy when whoever I pick, the other team gets blown out. I had Nova, I had Kansas, and these not even watchable games, not even watchable basketball games. So if you want any help on betting, ask me who I pick and bet the opposite. You're good to go. I'm excited for tomorrow. We do have some good teams playing. I'm curious to see how Duke's going to do it. For some reason, I sit here and say the youth might catch up to them. I know they're talented. I know they're great. But wait until they have to do what is going to have to come down the stretch. When Duke has to go to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and you start to have to play these matchups where it's Gonzaga, Florida State. Like, it's going to pick up here, right? And I'm just curious if the youth is going to play a factor in it, because it just takes one game. It just takes one bad game like Villanova where they can't make anything happen and they look horrible offensively. And I know that Villanova doesn't have Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett and all that, but they're human beings, okay? They're humans, and at some point, one slip-up, one costly game is the rest of the season, and then the whole thing's over. So as talented as Duke is, something tells me if you told me, bro, it's Duke or the field, I'm taking the field. Now, if you just listen to what I said about betting, that means Duke is probably going to win the national championship. Okay, so we'll take Duke. I don't know what to tell you. Let me know your thoughts down below on this game, this set of games today. What stood out to you? What are you looking for towards tomorrow? Thank you for listening. See you next time.